Hello and welcome to the IMPART Alliance podcast. My name is Tracy Anderson. I am the Communications Director here at IMPART Alliance. And today I'm joined with Bethany Duyser. Bethany is our Assistant Director for IMPART Alliance. She's been with us for a few years. And if we could, Bethany, just get started talking a little bit about how you joined IMPART Alliance.
Sure. So I am Bethany Duyser, and I came here via the College of Nursing. I got my DNP from the MSU College of Nursing in 2022. And while I was there, I did a semester as an intern with IMPART Alliance, looking at some of their curriculum and competency building, which was really enjoyable for me. My background is as a registered nurse and an adult gerontological primary care nurse practitioner. So I was helping them look at some of their curriculum and content, graduated, and then stuck around. I got the Dell Postdoctoral Fellowship Award from the College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is funded through their research programs. And so it allowed me to stay and work for a year. I implemented an educational project that involves some of the medical students, some nursing students, and some of the direct care workers that have taken our programs before. Got them all together to do some interprofessional education on the topic of long-term supports and services, which was really well received and exciting and interesting. And it was a nice opportunity to get to work, not just with IMPART Alliance, but some of the other faculty from the college too.
Absolutely. Being able to start here as an intern and transfer into the fellowship and understand the agency and everything that we have as far as goals and outreach. Absolutely a huge shout out for the college as far as supporting medical education and programming and research all in one combined effort. And I think you're a great example of that.
Well, and truly interdisciplinary. I sometimes think I get some strange looks when I tell people I'm a nurse working in a medical school. But it all ends up making sense. We're really interdisciplinary here at IMPART Alliance. Obviously, we work primarily with direct care workers, but we realize that they work collaboratively with nurses, with physicians, with all other members of the healthcare team. And we want to make sure that that profession integrates well with all the other ones that work with the same people we serve.
Absolutely. And now you transitioned as Assistant Director of IMPART Alliance. So tell us a little bit about your role now and how that fits in with the entire organization.
So my primary role, I work a lot in our training program. We have a direct care worker training program that's competency-based, and we deliver instruction to students. We train trainers who then disseminate our materials. So that's really fun to get to work, not just with people who are learners, but people who are learning to teach. So I really enjoy doing that, developing some of our content, working with trainers. And then I also work on a number of the other IMPART Alliance projects that are related to credentialing, training programs, and a lot of our community outreach programs that we do.
Tell me about why training is so important for our direct care workers as we work to improve not just their knowledge around the field, but how it helps them day to day in their work environments.
Yeah, training is such an important source of professional standards. I think we underestimate the twofold benefit of training. One, you need to learn the skills and knowledge necessary to be competent in your work role, right? We want people who know how to do things, do them correctly, and understand the impacts of the decisions that they make every day at work. So training, education is essential for people to be able to perform in their roles well. The other benefit of training is it's the first exposure you have to your colleagues in your profession, to the concept of ethical and professional standards related to your profession, and helps to acclimate people to the expectations in terms of communication and collaboration that's really required for this or any type of healthcare role.
Absolutely. And I love how we're bringing direct care workers into that whole setup as far as the health system, doctors, nurses, understanding how we all work together truly.
Absolutely. It's an often overlooked role, I think, in the field. And it was a tough lesson for me being a nurse. I had this one perspective on how healthcare should be delivered after years of nursing school. And then I started working around here, and I realized that it had really shaped my perspective on direct care work. And it's been really useful to see how every profession can perceive other ones differently, and to make sure that our collaboration isn't reduced to delegation or supervision, but truly understanding everyone's competencies, what overlaps, what differs, and how to best utilize someone else's expertise.
That was going to be my next question. How does your background as a nurse fit into this role here with IMPART Alliance?
I mean, from like a technical point of view, I understand how to do a lot of things that direct care workers do because you do it as a nurse. And it was part of my nursing education. Some things I haven't done in a long time. I have been a nurse practitioner for years prior to this role, so I wasn't necessarily doing some of the ADL support activities as much as many direct care workers do every single day. So it is like riding a bike. You can figure all of that stuff out again. But I also bring the training I have in evidence-based practice from the College of Nursing in terms of understanding why do we do the things we do? What are the repercussions? How can we innovate and change to improve outcomes and safety and effective delivery? So I look at everything right down to how someone brushes their teeth, gets dressed, eats their food from that perspective.
Tell me a little bit about what inspired you, number one, to go into nursing, and then transition where you're still a nurse and have that background and knowledge to support the direct care workforce.
Oh no, let's see if I can remember that far back why I became a nurse so many years ago. Honestly, I probably watched too many reruns from ER, which was an old show. No, I loved nursing because I love the approach to the whole person. I remember being young and I knew I was interested in healthcare. I was interested in science and the human body, and I didn't want to feel restricted to any one system or part of the human experience in nursing. It's truly holistic. You're with people for the duration of their lives. You work with every body system. You talk to families. You can be in every setting. So that really appealed to me. And then I, of course, was, a hospital ICU nurse at the start of my career. Thought that was who I was going to be forever. Again, probably because I watched too much TV. And then I just fell in love with working with older adults. There's a lot of wisdom that older adults offer the people who work with them. And I think there's also a really grounding experience of watching people age. It's a shared common experience. We are all somewhere along the spectrum of human development. And so seeing and getting to know people who have a different life story is just really enriching. So I knew I wanted to work with older adults. Went back to school, became a primary care nurse practitioner, and then worked a lot in various long-term supports and services settings. So skilled nursing facilities, your standard nursing home, assisted living. I did some clinic visits. I did a very small, limited scope house calls program at one clinic. And I just really enjoyed working with older adults. But what I would see in all of these settings, as I was there to be the primary care provider, is what people want the most is high quality direct care work. And that if you lined up an excellent direct care worker, an excellent nurse, a great physician, a great social worker, and you told that person you can only have one person taking care of you, they would almost certainly choose the direct care worker because it is the most essential for every single day. And to see people not be able to have those relationships and have access to a high quality direct care, those supports and services as much as they needed them. Either they were limited by time or geography or just there weren't people there. It's just such a disservice to people. It was really devastating. And I felt like people wouldn't miss me as much. They see me for their primary care every 3 months. They won't miss a visit with me, but they will be devastated by a day without their direct care worker.
Tell me how important that is, that day-to-day life with a direct care worker, and how important that is for the person receiving the support and services and even on the other side for the direct care worker.
It's an essential system, and I think so interdependent. I think that's really the ethos around here. I think it was another researcher who first used the term back in like the 90s, but better jobs, better care. This idea that when people have better jobs, they provide better care, and when the care is better, the job is better. So I think there's really an inextricable bond between the quality of the job for the direct care worker and the quality of care that the person receives. But I also think, I don't like to use the term dependence, right? The person is dependent on the direct care worker for their assistance. I mean, how devastating would it be if you needed to use the washroom and there was no one there to help you go? Mm-hmm. But that suggests that there's a dependence and it's so single direction. Direct care workers know that people are out there and would want their help, and it's devastating to not be able to have it. I think we also are underestimating the true impact of family caregiving. Mm-hmm. People need respite from caregiving, which is a $10
Absolutely.
word for a break, right? If you
Yes.
have a job and you're the caregiver for your family member and you need to go to work for 8 hours, mm-hmm. you know, who's going to help take care of them while you're not there? So in that way, you can see how essential it is for someone. But it's also about inclusion, right? People have the right to live the life they want to live in the place they want to live in the way they want to live it. If that requires supports and services from another individual, of course, right? To mm-hmm. deny that from someone is an insult to their autonomy and their goals and values.
I agree. Bethany, what is the best part about your job?
Oh my gosh. If I had to pick one thing, it's meeting with you guys. No, not that I don't love it. Best part of my job, maybe it can give you top 3.
Sure.
Okay. Number 1 is the students that we work with. I learned so much from them when I get to teach classes. That's my favorite thing to do, to hear their stories from the field and hear about their experience.
So these are students right here at Michigan State?
Direct care worker students that take our training program.
Got it. Okay.
That's number 1. Number 2 is getting to meet the partners. Dr. Luz has created such a fabulous coalition for this organization. And sometimes from people that you wouldn't have thought about needing to be in the direct care worker coalition, and you think like, oh yeah, they have a stake in this game too. So to get to meet all of these partners and hear about the priorities of different organizations and individuals all across the state is just really cool. And to also be able to offer like, yeah, I could help you with that. And then the last thing is just learning more about direct care work, about the way that we provide care, and really thinking in like a big systems level about what the future could look like for long-term supports and services. I find that extremely exciting and rewarding.
Yes, absolutely. All great points. And we're very lucky to have Dr. Claire Luz as our leader for IMPART Alliance. You're absolutely correct. Like, she truly does draw in so many resources from all over the state, so many connections to move the profession forward, to help direct care workers. You can see that passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we need passion to do work, I think. You know, we work so much better when we can do what we love and what we truly care about.
Yeah, and it's not going to be, there's no one single person or one single lever to be pulled to mm-hmm. fix the challenges facing the direct care workforce. It is truly going to be only in the event that we can bring all of these groups that have their own goals and priorities and bring them all together and pool our energy in trying to fix some of these really hard system-wide problems. And I think that coalition is there and the momentum is there. It's very exciting.
Absolutely. I love being a part of it myself and helping lead the communications.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Bethany, this has been great just talking with you. Is there anything that I might have missed just asking as far as questions, or anything else that you'd like to share maybe about your role or the impact that you hope to have here?
No, I think I'm just out here banging the same drum about how important direct care work is and really trying to overcome some of these myths in the way that we talk about direct care work. I think the number one thing that just really grinds my gears is when you hear people talk about the direct care workforce shortage. I really want to reframe the way we talk about it to really emphasize people want good jobs, people want caregiving, people value care. You know, so often we throw it away and say things like, oh, caregiving's not valuable or people don't care about care, but they do, right? Everyone has either cared for someone or been cared for, and those are the most meaningful relationships in our lives. So we all understand how important the power of direct care work is, but the problem is that the jobs aren't necessarily tenable for a lot of people, or the hours or the resources or the organizational support for people to be able to maintain these positions for lifelong careers. So I always want to say, like, okay, there is a direct care worker shortage, but there's also a shortage of really high quality direct care worker jobs. And how do we expand the economic inclusion for those workers and build the workforce?
And that's what we're all working towards.
Yep.
Together, collectively, and we're making a difference already, and it's just been exciting to be a part of.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Bethany, for joining us today for our
pleasure.
IMPART Alliance podcast, and we appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.